everyone. Welcome to UC San Diego's Process Palooza 2021. I'm Tracy O'Rourke. I'm an instructor for the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt and Lean Six Sigma Leader courses at UC San Diego Extension. And I'm very excited to be one of your moderators for this year's Process Palooza. Now, if you don't know what Lean Six Sigma is, it's UC San Diego's method of choice for process improvement. Lean and Six Sigma focus on efficiency, flow, and reducing errors. And if this is your first time attending, you may be wondering, what is Process Palooza? Well, the short answer is that Process Palooza is a special event that celebrates UC San Diego's commitment to business excellence, operational efficiency, and continuous improvement. But let's hear a little more from the two best people to kick off this year's Process Palooza, UC San Diego's Chancellor Pradeep Khosla and Executive Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Elizabeth Simmons. So let's watch a video that Chancellor Pradeep Khosla created for this event.
Hello, and welcome to the 4th annual Process Palooza. This year's theme is the power of continuous improvement. And continuous improvement is what UC San Diego is all about. Improvement in how we experience our world through the lens of science, technology, policy, and art. Improvement in how we connect, how we collaborate, how we learn, and how we grow. An improvement in how we use tools, how we alter perceptions, and how we change systems. From the birth of our experimental campus, we have committed to exploration and discovery outside the norm. We regularly bring together explorers, change makers, and brilliant artistic minds from all over the world. We do this to encourage cooperation that solves societal challenges and drives progress. We do this to make a difference in the lives of students, patients, and the communities that we serve. And we do this in our effort to inspire continuous improvement in all that we do. Each of us has an important role to play in this process of continuous improvement. That is why I'm very happy you've joined us here today in that noble pursuit. Process Palooza supports the 5th goal of UC San Diego's institutional strategic plan. This unique collection of events supports our efforts to create an agile, sustainable, and supportive infrastructure. And it helps us better demonstrate our dedication to service, to people, and to financial stewardship. The lessons and strategies that we learn here are instrumental in helping us achieve our goals. For that reason, I know it will be very helpful to the many guests attending from outside our organization. I extend a warm Triton welcome to all of our colleagues from more than 200 institutions from around the world. And I look forward to seeing you throughout Process Palooza.
Thank you so much, Chancellor Khosla. I love his reference to UC San Diego as an experimental campus, bringing together explorers, change makers, and brilliant artistic minds. And these are the kinds of people that has really helped continuous improvement get started at the grassroots level at UC San Diego. And it is so critical to have such strong support from top leadership too. So now let's hear some remarks, Executive Vice Chancellor Elizabeth Simmons.
Good morning and welcome everyone to our 4th annual Process Palooza, an event focused on building a culture of continuous improvement. Our initial Process Palooza was the first event of its kind at UC San Diego, or at any UC for that matter. I'm so very pleased to see how this event has grown over the past few years. Last year, we had over 2,000 people participate from more than 200 institutions across 10 countries. UC San Diego is in the midst of a major transformation, encompassing everything from our campus's physical footprint to the ways in which we uphold our educational, research, and service mission. We're deliberately altering how we do our core work by identifying opportunities for improvement and empowering our university community to drive the positive changes that we need. Now, as you heard from the Chancellor, each of us has an important role to play in this continuous improvement. So by working collectively and using the Lean Six Sigma model, we can achieve our strategic goal of creating an agile, and sustainable and supportive infrastructure that ensures our dedication to service, people, and financial stewardship. Our organization-wide commitment to Lean Six Sigma provides a common vocabulary and a set of practices that can be shared by all, regardless of role or project. So, whether you are participating in today's competition, or joining the conference, or exploring the expo, I hope that Process Palooza inspires you to learn more about how you can make a positive difference within our university community and shape the future of UC San Diego.
Thank you so much, Executive Vice Chancellor Elizabeth Simmons. Both the Chancellor and the Executive Vice Chancellor mentioned the direct correlation between continuous improvement and one of UC San Diego's top goals. Having that kind of clarity about the why behind continuous improvement is so important and is one of the reasons why continuous improvement is thriving here. UC San Diego has made the commitment and is now living the continuous improvement dream, which is an ongoing journey. And Process Palooza is a way to celebrate, share success, and spread the word. So this year, we're going to be celebrating and sharing every Tuesday for the next 6 weeks from 10:30 to 12 p.m. Pacific. So if you want to be inspired by presenters, if you want to learn and grow, clear your calendars and plug in each week to Palooza Tuesday. We have an incredible lineup of speakers, including one of the Time magazine's most influential people, a record-breaking volcano boarder, and we've got lined up to talk about UC San Diego's improvement journey and how to apply process improvement in higher education, healthcare, and nonprofit organizations. So you definitely don't want to miss any episode at all, every Tuesday. And so here's what you can expect for today. We are going to hear from Chase Beringer, founder of the Bucket List Adventures. You're going to hear from key UCSD staff and the role they play in continuous improvement during our virtual expo lightning round. And in the spirit of experimental minds, we'll explore some interactive ways to enhance collaboration for problem solvers and teams. We'll give you an update on the Lean Six Sigma race. That's the Process Palooza competition that's happening over the next several weeks. And stay tuned for a raffle at the end of today's session. It's a chance to win $500 voucher for a select project management or a Lean Six Sigma class from UC San Diego Extension. And in order to win, though, you need to pay close attention to today's session to answer the mystery question. So there are many people, teams, and sponsors that help make this event possible. We'll be thanking them along the way. And to start, we want to thank our sponsor, Koali Build. It's a company that allows you to create powerful apps with digital forms and automated approvals. Okay, a few tips before we move on to our next presenter. Please feel free to use the Q&A window to submit questions at any time to our panelists and our presenters. This session is going to be recorded and placed on the Process Palooza website. In case you missed one, we hope you don't, but in case you do, it's going to be recorded. There's also live closed captioning available. So let me briefly explain the two ways. First, you can click on the closed caption button at the bottom of the screen and select Show Subtitles, or you can click on the link that we're pasting into the chat now. Okay, it's time to welcome our next guest, Chase Beringer. So let me tell you a little bit about Chase. Chase is the founder of the Bucket List Adventures, a company focused on helping to curate unique and awe-inspiring experiences for groups around the world. Chase has led the world's wildest adventures and expeditions. I think I need to be this person's friend, gaining 6 Guinness World Records, some scars, and a few wild stories along with it. He's a 9-time award-winning event coordinator, a leadership trainer, and a best-selling author. And while Chase has spent years breaking records, starting businesses, and exploring the edges of the globe, he still insists he's a small town guy who is no different than anybody else. And he is passionate about showing people what's truly possible. And how is this related to process improvement? Well, we've invited Chase here today to talk about the mental hurdles he's faced in extreme experiences that can show up in our daily work and in applying process improvement. Welcome, Chase. How are you today?
Hey, Tracy. Oh my gosh, I'm super excited to be here, honestly. Like, I've been thinking about this for days. I woke up today, I could not be more excited. Oh, nice background. We matched.
Yeah, I thought I would match.
Nice.
So Chase, thank you so much for joining us today for Process Palooza. You have done a lot of intriguing things, and I really am a process improvement zealot, but I'm thinking I might enjoy what you do as well. So tell us about you and how you got into doing what you do.
Yeah, truly. I mean, like you had shared actually in the intro, like I genuinely am a small town guy. I came from Oregon, from a town of 300 people. I was raised on a ranch. So coming from that world and transitioning into the adventure scene, which is completely the opposite. It genuinely couldn't even be more opposite. It really took a moment of seeing that everything that I had experienced in the past from high school and college and everything that I had experienced, there was something more. There truly was something that I believed that was possible for me, even though I hadn't seen it personally. I didn't have a passport, didn't travel or anything like that, and I didn't have money to do it. And I Googled, how to travel the world for free. Read up extensively, became obsessed with it. How to travel the world for free. Began doing it, crossing off my own bucket list items. Began living life aligned with my own personal bucket list. It transformed everything in my life. And because I was able and lucky enough to experience a lot of what I consider to be the best experiences in the world, I wrote down my top 10, and I figured, if these are the best experiences that I've ever had, likely they're the best experiences that other people would want to have. And so I started taking people on groups, and that transitioned quickly into private groups and corporate groups as well, and taking management teams for leadership training, stuff like that. And today, that was 9 years ago, actually, I started this. So it's been a heck of a journey, a lot of crazy experiences, like you talked about with the records and everything, a lot of ridiculous fun.
Oh, absolutely. Wow. So you help people achieve their bucket list adventures, and you create maybe some items they never even knew were not on their bucket list. And you said, hey, you should do this too.
Yeah, pretty much. I take like what a normal person would think as an idea, like, oh, I always wanted to go to Alaska. And I'm like, but have you considered dog sledding under the northern lights with everyone on your team wearing a penguin onesie? Have you considered it before? And might as well upgrade it.
That is definitely social media worthy. So you just started helping people with their bucket list adventures, and you've been doing this now for 9 years.
Yeah.
And gosh, that is amazing. So you do a lot of things most normal people would consider maybe crazy or impossible, right? What would you say? Why do you say you're still a regular guy? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is actually a question that I get quite often, because like for me in my world and my perception of reality, I see myself as totally average, like totally normal. There is nothing unique about me in the sense that like I'm not hyper intelligent. I don't have like this crazy physique that allows me to go do all this, epic crazy stuff and break land speed records and stuff. I'm fairly average. I see myself as. It's simply these mindset shifts that I've kind of been forced to create for myself if I wanted to accomplish the things that I've wanted to accomplish. And that's what I love sharing with people, is like I kind of see my life as like a car commercial. So okay, so all right, with a car commercial, imagine like a Jeep Cherokee commercial. It's like pulling a train through Alaska. It's going like 140 miles an hour. And they're not genuinely trying to sell people on the fact that they would go pull a train through Alaska or they would go 140 miles an hour. It just lets people know that if that Jeep can do all of that, it can definitely pull my boat and take my family camping. It's the kind of the same thing with the crazy stuff that I do is like, okay, if this normal dude can use these like these little shifts, these mindset shifts and these perspective shifts to go do all of this epic, wild, seemingly impossible stuff, then I could definitely use it in my day-to-day life to accomplish, the things that I see as really challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think what I really like about what you're saying is, you're a regular guy in the sense of the normal thinking we do. And I think what I'm hearing you also say is we all have challenges, into doing the bucket list. So what are some of the challenges that you're seeing in regular people, if you would, with, going out and doing their bucket list? What do you think
Yeah.
is holding them back?
Well, first, I mean, most people don't even write what they truly desire down. First of all, I mean, it's about creating possibility in the first place. When I wrote my bucket list, I had never traveled before. I had never done anything extraordinary, that's for sure, living in a small town. And so I wrote a lot of things, but there was also a lot of times where my brain would be like, oh no, that's too expensive. You can't afford that. Or, oh no, you can't climb Everest. That's ridiculous. You can't travel for 3 months straight. That maybe when you're retired. And so I allowed that little voice to have me not writing a lot of things until I realized this through a lot of workshops that I've done, where you're actually not writing a list for the person you are right now. Like you're writing it for the person that you want to become on the path through completing all of these items. And one by one, you'll become that person who can accomplish those things. Right now, maybe you can't afford to go fly an airplane, or that just seems ridiculous. But maybe that's something you want to do, and you have to grow to become the person who can actually do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Do you feel that when people have a bucket list, I mean, actually going out and achieving something on your bucket list, do you find that, because I think about the things on my bucket list and I hear some of my friends' bucket lists, and, it ranges so much. It could be, I want to do a foodie tour in Thailand, like on your website, to
Yes.
I want to bike the Pacific coast on my bike with my friends. And so, I mean, how do you get people started on this idea of shifting their paradigm that you can work on your bucket list always?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, I get asked that all the time. How many items should I have? Should it just be travel? Should I have different sections? And the answer is always the same. It's whatever you want it to be. It's literally your dream of what you want your life to be. So for me, I never thought that I would share that list. Like when I wrote it, it was so private, and it was so like, it was really something that mattered a lot to me. And I had things like get to know my grandpa better. I like having open conversations with people, and it was a lot of items on there weren't travel focused. And I always recommend that to people is think of, what do I want to accomplish in my life? And that could be as simple as having a conversation you've known that you need to have, or doing that thing that you've just been putting off and kicking down the road. So it can be anything you want it to be, and it should be anything you want it to be, and it can evolve. You can take things off, add things. You have kids, your priorities change, great. Add a new family bucket list. Everything can adjust, because that's what life does. It continuously evolves.
Absolutely. And how has your bucket list evolved?
Okay, so that's an interesting question. So I have this thing. I wrote this list, and it was like 100 items. And that was like that version of myself, this version who hadn't done anything. It was just my dream. And I actually like kept that as like a sacred list of like almost like a frozen in time little moment of what I believed was almost impossible, because I never thought I would actually do it. And so I have that original 100 items, and I've done like 84 of those items, and that was incredible, of course. And then I have like my little secret list that I have on my cell phone that I type all the time, and I add to, on a weekly basis, of when something, oh yeah, I want to drive a monster truck. Heck yeah. Or I want to go see the butterfly migration in Mexico. Like, of course I do. These little things. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I have two different lists. One is like that sacred time capsule, and the other one is always constantly evolving.
Well, I would really love to hear, I think that something is very aligned with process improvement, and that is, how do you overcome these fears for tackling some of these challenges and getting out there and doing it? Because I think there is fear in process improvement too. And,
Mhm.
I'm always talking about how there's fear in organizations and how to reduce the fear. So what are some of the things you've done to help overcome your fears?
Oof. So first off, I'm scared all the time. Like I get anxious, I get fearful, and truly, like I do a lot of things that cause me to be in scary situations. Like I try and break world records and things that I've never done before in my whole life, and like that's where growth is. I know that. But to answer your question specifically around like process improvement and in like a organizational setting, I think that it's very easy for people to fall into a state of doing the same thing that that worked yesterday, because you can be great at it, and we all want to be great, and we all want to do things that we know we will be seen as, oh man, they're so good at their job, they do that. So in order to kind of like challenge the form, in order to stand up and say, okay, I actually see an area of that I think can be improved on, and you can't know that you're going to be correct in the way in which you improve on it. You just hope. You can say, this is what I think. I've tried to figure it out. I think this is the best move forward. But in standing up, it takes courage, because you could be wrong. You could be wrong and you could mess something up. And that's a part of life. And I think that an organization should really, I think any organization should always focus on, like, our failures are our greatest opportunities. And if you bring something up and we all agree that, yeah, this looks like the best move, because it's never just one person making a decision and going cowboy and just saying, all right, we're changing everything. It's a group decision. So we all decided on this together. If we fail as a team, and we learn from that mistake and we focus on the lesson, we don't focus on the failure, and really encouraging that and celebrating that, even when it fails, just as much as when it works. So I think there's not enough of that, as well as something really important with fear in an organization for continuous improvement, is just getting people to not only not fear the stick, but also making sure that it's worth it for them to stand up and say that this is, I see something different. Because for most people, as I said before, it's just easier to stay quiet. When you're not sure, when you're 45% sure that I think there's something wrong here, but it's going to take a lot more work. I'm standing up and saying something that I could be totally wrong and look stupid, and it's going to take a lot of time, and I'm already so busy. What's the reason? Why would they stand up? So every organization is different on how they want to do that, but I think it's super important for overcoming that fear.
Absolutely. And that's the cultural element, right? So how do we actually help organizations embrace possibility, overcome fear, break those mental barriers, be resilient and resourceful? Those are all very important things. And it's sort of kind of the path of what you're talking about with your bucket list adventures. And so I really have to ask you, so I heard, speaking of totally regular activities, I heard that you broke the world record for the fastest volcano boarding ever. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. So first off, anyone who's listening to this and is not like, what did I just hear? You're already crazy as me. It is not lost on me that this is an absolutely outrageous thing to even attempt. This year, actually, I went with a couple friends in my business, and we decided to do something crazy. We decided to just do something that I had never been volcano boarding, I hadn't been snowboarding in over a decade, and I've never been to this volcano. I literally just Google searched volcanoes in Mexico, and I was like, ooh, that's a pretty one, and clicked on it, and I was like, all right, let's go there. Like, that's how ridiculous this whole scenario was. And we decided we went, and my videographer in my company is just amazing. He created a cool recap for us. But yeah, we went, and it was so much harder than we thought it was going to be. Of course, it's not my first rodeo with these. They're always harder than you think they are. It was constant iteration and failure over and over again. but through resiliency and resourcefulness and a lot of help from locals on the ground with horses and trucks and people helping move rocks off the volcano so we can have a straight path, we made it.
Very cool. Well, why don't we take a look at this video that you've been able to share with us?
Yeah, we just, I don't know if you can still hear me, but just before playing this, there's actually it's a puja ceremony, it's called, that we're doing in this video right before we actually attempted. Just like any attempt, if there's any mountaineers on this, if there just happens to be any mountaineers, before climbing Everest, before climbing Kilimanjaro, any of these, there's always a ceremony basically asking for permission from the mountain and basically asking for safety. This is something that I actually didn't know was recorded, and my videographer caught this really cool moment. But this is just before the action and then a bit of the actual attempt.
Awesome. All right. Can't wait to see. Let's see that video.
Just want to say I'm so grateful even to have the opportunity to be here right now. And I just want to apologize in advance for even messing even a little bit with the beauty that you already are. Just hope that you'll be graceful with me and my team. Hope that you won't flick me off the side of this volcano. Please make my body strong and my heart full. Remind me why I'm doing this in the first place. Come on, Chase, you can do it. No fear. I can go faster. I can go faster. Come on.
Wow. And so that was some trouble in there, some challenge. You were vulnerable, but you did it.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And just to make sure, could you see it on your end? On my end, it was like frame. Were you able to see it on your side?
We were, yes.
Perfect. All right. Just making sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. It was terrifying. Of course, it's so scary. I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm sitting up there all alone. You can dress up as an adventurer. You can fly into a cool space and have all your friends there and have the locals there and everything. But at the end of the day, like, I'm sitting up there alone, and I have to kind of come to terms with the fact that, like, I can put on the boots, but if I can't do the walk, then none of this is worth it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I think I'd love to board a volcano, by the way. So if you ever do that, let me know.
All right, I'll make sure. We'll do it. We'll do a trip. Actually, I am gonna break the sitting world record in Nicaragua later this summer. I did the standing world record, and then I'm gonna do the sitting. I crashed so hard, I actually got really hurt. It took me a couple months of recovery, and so I initially was going to do both records. And then now I'll be doing the sitting record, which is much faster though. It's 100 kilometers an hour we'll be going. Oof.
So tell me, like, what advice do you have for wrestling with failure and fear? What are some of the mental things you do to help with that? Because I mean, it's very different boarding a volcano than implementing process improvement, but I think the human piece of that is the same. And what do you suggest for people to overcome fear and break mental barriers?
Yeah, so first off, every person truly is different, because I know that for some people, their fear manifests mostly as anxiety. And for other people, it's a visceral emotional experience. I just want to acknowledge that first, that the way that I experience fear and the way that I process fear might not be exactly what works for every single person across the board. However, I have kind of developed a few ways of looking at things that have helped me personally, and I think that it definitely isn't going to hurt to try it in your own world when you're feeling that fear for yourself. So for me, one of the biggest things that I learned early on is that I actually don't have a lot of control over the entirety of the situation. A lot of my fear and anxiety comes from believing that I have control over what happens, or at least an acknowledgement that I could have some form of control. I have no control over what anyone else is going to do, how they're going to think, how they're going to, handle a situation that I might be scared to go into, whether that's a conversation or a giant volcano. I have no idea if my boot is going to break when I start going down the volcano. I have no idea what is about to happen. So I don't have as much control as I think I do. And letting go of control, most people actually see that as a cause of fear and a cause of anxiety. In reality, letting go of that belief that you have control is actually what will allow you to just let go of that, because there's no reason to hold on to it at that point. When you understand that you really don't have as much control over not only the situation but your life as you think you do, then what is there to be so dang scared of? Because there really is no way to know whether, not only if I'm going to break this record and be successful in it, but most importantly, that I'm going to be healthy, that I'm not going to, fly down. And I crashed really hard multiple times, and I was very lucky to only get a little bit hurt. But I mean, I was risking my life. So yes. I was scared. I was very, very scared, sitting up there by myself for two main reasons. One, am I going to get really hurt? I was really scared that I was going to get really hurt, and I was going to do it on camera, and it was going to just be really painful, and all the things that I'm normally scared of when I'm doing something big. Mm-hmm. The other one is, am I going to look like an idiot? That's a huge fear of mine. Was, am I going to stand up here and I'm going to immediately crash, because I've never done this before in my life? And not only am I not going to break this land speed record, I'm not even going to be able to do it. Like, I'm not even going to go 1 mile an hour. So I didn't want to look like an idiot. And I think that's a big one for a lot of people, is they don't want to look stupid. Yes. So they don't want to stand up and get the spotlight on them. And so for me, really understanding that whether I look dumb or not isn't really up to me at this point. I'm standing up either way. I'm choosing to stand up. And if I look dumb, I look dumb, because I might, but I'll deal with it when that time comes. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I've looked dumb plenty of times. I have failed at almost everything I've ever done in some factor. I just right there, what you guys just watched, I failed. That attempt that I did and I crashed, I failed. Yes. And I dealt with it. I said, I can go faster. And I grabbed that stainless steel board, 100 pounds or more, and I trekked hours up the volcano, and I tried it again, and I failed again the next time. And like, it just happens and happens. And it's that resiliency and that knowing that, at this point, I've decided to do it. Whatever happens is going to happen. It might seem very basic, but it's important.
Well, Chase, we are out of time already with you. I can't believe it. Fast. And it goes fast, but I really appreciate you coming to join us at the Process Palooza and talk about how you've overcome fear and mental barriers. It does apply in process improvement so much. It's the same fear. And so what this means is, if you can apply process improvement really well, you can board volcano as well. Yes. So thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see your next adventure.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, there you have it, everyone. If you are successful in achieving the mental hurdles in continuous improvement, then you should be able to board down a volcano with Chase. Sign me up. And so now we're going to go ahead and transition. We're going to meet some process improvement folks, or rather some high potential volcano boarders, in our next segment, UC San Diego's Virtual Expo. So as both the Chancellor and the Executive Vice Chancellor mentioned at the beginning of our session, everyone has an important role to play in the noble pursuit of process improvement. So let's meet some of the people trailblazing the path of process improvement at UC San Diego. This is a virtual expo, maybe likening to when you go to an expo when you're in person. So this is virtual, and we're going to be calling it a lightning round highlighting some of the initiatives and the staff. So we've got a lot of the participants already up for the lightning round. All of these people are involved in making a difference on campus and helping Lean Six Sigma thrive. They're going to go ahead and introduce themselves and talk about what they're doing. And I think we're going to be starting with Tony.
Hi, Tracy, and everyone else. Thank you. My name is Antonio Nava, or Tony. I'm with UC San Diego's Operational Strategic Initiatives team. Part of our mission is to improve overall service, dedication to people, and financial stewardship. Now, one of the ways we've cultivated CI, or continuous improvement, CI, has been through providing training at the white and yellow belt level in Lean Six Sigma. These sessions, which began about 5 years ago, have introduced now thousands of staff to this developing CI culture. Now, the magic of our training is that it focuses on some very complex and sensitive topics, things like statistical analysis and change management, but in a fun and relatable way. Now, it's a little bit like the Matrix. One cannot be told what Lean Six Sigma is. You have to see it for yourself. Now, in the spirit of that, we actually created a simulation process for our participants to work through, as well as providing project examples from across campus to show that these improvements have been successful and that to empower them to feel like they can do the same, to empower them to feel like they are change agents, and that we're providing them the tools and the language to be successful in a network of peers to support them. It's been an honor and a pleasure to start folks on their CI journey. And those who are interested, it's lovely to see their sort of light bulbs turn on and get excited. And if they want to learn more, we're happy to connect them with Angela and the team at UCSD Extension. Angela, if you can tell us more about that.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. Hi, my name is Angela Miller, and I'm with UC San Diego Extension, and we are the continuing education branch of the university. I oversee the Lean Six Sigma training program, specifically the green and black belt certificates. And along with our exceptional master black belt instructors, including today's host, Tracy O'Rourke, we are committed to providing the highest level of training and mentorship to empower students to make all processes effective and efficient. The most importantly, our programs allow students to apply the tools to a real process, and by the end of the training, they will make significant improvements. So as a UCSD alum, it feels incredible to have contributed towards this movement to build a continuous improvement culture across the university. And now I'm happy to introduce you to Alora, who will share with you about the campus's staff scholarships.
Hi, I'm Alora Cardenas, Managing Director in the Office of Operational Strategic Initiatives, or OSI. Every year, with the generous support of VC CFO Pierre Oulet, OSI offers approximately 20 scholarships to UC San Diego staff to attend Extension's Lean Six Sigma program. We award scholarships based on project feasibility and demonstrated personal commitment and supervisor support. By offering these scholarships, we train highly motivated staff, and we build a network of process improvement talent campus-wide. I feel so passionate about this scholarship program, and it is so exciting to see the results of all the new projects every year from our scholarship recipients. We know one office alone can't do all of the work necessary to achieve our university's efficiency goals. And this scholarship program is one awesome way to expand process improvement efforts and empower staff to be practitioners at all levels of the organization. Now I'll turn it over to Matthew to share about transformational health.
Thanks, Laura, and hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Hilton. I am Program Manager for Transformational Healthcare. We are a team of lean coaches at UC San Diego Health, and our vision is to create 10,000 problem solvers relentlessly improving the value of patient care while loving their jobs. Over the past 3 years, we've shifted the collective focus away from business as usual and towards proactive process assessment. We believe that those who provide and support the patient care delivery are best suited to improve it. Early partnerships with advocates, strong support from our amazing executive team, and robust communications have all been paramount to demonstrating the power of lean in our health system. Little by little, our vision has become the vision of the organization, and the momentum is stronger than ever going into year 4. I feel extremely fortunate to work for an organization whose decision makers not only talk the talk, but walk the walk. through investment in people, shared accountability, and willingness to role model lean leadership behaviors. Lean provides a safe space for people to experiment, which goes to foster a culture of imagination, innovation, and excellence. And speaking of excellence, here's Moshkan.
Thank you, Matthew. Hi, my name is Moshkan Amini. I'm the Director of Process Management and Continuous Improvement at IT Services. Here at UC San Diego, we like to go big and bold, and our Enterprise System Renewal Program, ESR for short, is no exception. We're in the midst of replacing practically every enterprise system on campus. But don't let the term ESR fool you. It's not just about bringing in new systems. We're first and foremost focusing on the people and the processes. Our approach is pretty unique. For each enterprise systems, we're reviewing and streamlining the way things are currently done. We're involving our own experts. We're applying process improvement and change management every step of the way. And we're ending up producing an interwoven landscape of business processes that will serve us for years to come. You want to know how we're tapping into our own Lean Six Sigma experts to do this? Well, here's Sean to tell us about something called Lean Bench.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Monroe. I'm manager of Lean Bench at UCSD and also the service owner for Quality Build at UCSD. So as you've heard, we found ourselves in a very interesting situation at the beginning of our ESR journey. We're standing at the edge of this huge undertaking, and we're also an organization that had been investing heavily in our staff with Lean Six Sigma training and building that continuous improvement culture here on campus. So the Lean Bench was born as an organization to connect this pool of staff process improvement expertise to these large-scale, fast-moving projects. Staff volunteered their time and were able to use methodologies and toolkits designed specifically for ESR, while also having high-level support and guidance through their process improvement engagements with Lean Bench and the ESR project. So this allowed staff to really flex their Lean Six Sigma muscles and gain valuable experience, which they were also then able to take back and share with their own departments. Next up, we have Kevin, who's going to share a bit about a community formed at UCSD, which was really built to help keep all these continuous improvement practitioners connected.
Thank you, Sean. Hello, everyone. My name is Kevin Waldrop, and I'm an organizational consultant in the office of the EVC Business Office. And I'm also vice chair for BCOP, the Business Excellence Community of Practice. And BCOP is a network made up of both aspirational and formally trained improvement practitioners who are interested in fostering business excellence here on campus. And we do that through our three pillars of change management, continuous improvement based on Lean Six Sigma, and through project management. And BCOP makes a positive impact by creating this network and sharing of the knowledge through our monthly events. And the monthly events are sometimes hosted by outside visitors and guest speakers, and other times from within our own BCOP organization and community. But it feels awesome either way for us to create the community and be a resource for learning and help each other here on campus. So thank you for being here today. Tracy, it's all yours.
Well, thank you to all of these movers and shakers. Let's get some hands in there. Woohoo! I keep seeing you all on a board on a volcano. Thank you again. I have had the pleasure of working with all of you, and I want to say thank you for your passion and your drive and your enthusiasm and the good work you are doing. You are making such a huge difference with process improvement at UC San Diego, and it would not be the same without all of you. So thank you. Bye-bye. And making a difference is really undeniable in some of the continuous improvement results UC San Diego has been achieving, including training 4,500 staff, building a community of hundreds of people in UC San Diego that are process improvement zealots, delivering project work with large impacts on staff, students, the community, and saving approximately $15 million. So very impressive, and thank you so much So I hope you enjoyed meeting them because I really enjoyed highlighting them. Okay, so for our last two highlights, we're going to tap into our experimental and exploratory minds, and don't worry about failing because failure just gets us to the next level. One of them is a virtual competition and the other is a virtual collaboration tool. So let's talk about the competition first. So as part of this year's Process Palooza, we're bringing back the competition called the Great Lean Six Sigma Race. This is where teams go head to head, putting their Lean Six Sigma skills to the test to improve real campus processes. And this year, we're doing it virtually. So yes, process improvement can be done virtually. It's happening right now in tandem with this 6-week Palooza Tuesday, and we'll be giving you weekly updates on how the great race is coming along. So this is how it works, just to give you a little more information about this race. 2 process owners from UC San Diego volunteer their process up to be improved. There are 3 teams that work hard to apply process improvement and come up with a recommendation that is presented to the business owner and judges. The best application of process improvement methods and the best recommended solutions win. So you're going to find out who the winners are in the last 2 weeks of the Process Palooza. So stay tuned. Okay, now we're going to do something different in the spirit of experimental minds, being innovative and bravely trying new things. We're going to conduct a live interactive whiteboard exercise. We'll be using a collaborative tool called Lucid Spark. Of course, you can conduct this type of activity with your tool of choice. There's lots of whiteboard tools out there, but whiteboarding, if you haven't used it before, it's a great way to encourage teams to collaborate more effectively in a virtual environment, especially. So some of you are going to get to see this work, and a few of you will get to try it. So we'd love it if everyone could participate, but Process Palooza has a high attendance rate and exceeds the limit for the number of people that can use it at the same time. We're going to break a record ourselves. We thought we'd still introduce it though, in case you haven't heard about it or seen it. And we are going to limit the number of participants. So I'm going to go ahead and bring back Tony Nava of UC San Diego, and he's going to help facilitate this session. So take it away, Tony.
All right, welcome everyone. So we at OSI and folks across campus, Lean Bench and BCOP, we're always looking for ways to interact with folks. Whether it's, finding an alternative option for the, whiteboarding and sticky notes and dot voting and a number of different things that we might have been used to in different kinds of engagements. These can be used for feedback, for gathering information, for voting, for prioritization, for a number of different things. So the tool that I'm going to show everyone today is a tool, or I'm going to share a link for a tool called Lucid Spark, and it's part of the Lucid set of apps, right? I do want to note that we've used a number of different things. I've used Microsoft Whiteboard, Google Jamboard, Trello, Miro. Sometimes I just go on the whiteboard in Zoom. It really depends on the activity that I'm working on and the audience participation and sort of what they're comfortable with. So what I'm going to do is first I want to share the template workspace that I've created. So I'll share my screen. Hopefully everyone can see that. Please let me know if not. So for those of you who've never seen this before, I want to give a quick walkthrough. So I've created this shared space, and folks will be given the link in a bit. But one of the first things that I like to show people is this little top corner button here. It's a hand, and if I click on it, it turns into an arrow. Now the hand means I can move around the board, and the arrow allows me to actually grab items and manipulate them. Okay, so I'll be able to move these dots or create a sticky note, for example, and move that sticky note around if it's an arrow. Okay. Now, again, hand, if I try to grab the sticky note, it's not going to work. It moves the actual map around. So that's one of the first things I want to show people. What we're going to be doing in this space is I'm going to provide a couple different prompts and a couple ways to interact. And then I'll share the link and I'll invite folks to come in and I'll outline what that's going to look like. But the first exercise is to let us know where you were when you first learned about Lean Six Sigma. So for myself, I'm going to actually just either zoom in or out here in the lower right corner. Or you can click Control and scroll up or down. But I'm going to grab one of these dots because I was in San Diego when I first learned about Lean Six Sigma. But For those of you who are going to be participating, go ahead and just place a dot wherever you were when you first learned about Lean Six Sigma. The second activity, I'm going to switch it over to a hand, is to add a sticky note. What is your favorite tool or outcome from Lean Six Sigma? Now, again, on this bar over here, I'm going to grab a sticky note. It's this one right here. I can pick any color, and I'll just tap on the screen. Now, you see it gives me a little cursor there. I'll put, you don't need fancy software, right? Now, you can see it got kind of tiny. I can either pull it out to get a little, to resize it, or I can zoom in. One other thing I want to show you is that once you've added a sticky note, you can actually change the color. If you want to, you can change the font, those sort of fun things. The more functional thing that I want to share with everyone is the reaction buttons, if you want to sort of show your support for a different thing, or a tag. So for extra credit, once you've added a sticky or two, you can click on this tag button and then say, let us know what the industry was where you saw or have seen these tools successful in. So was it education? Was it healthcare? That sort of thing. I'm going to go ahead and tag mine with education. I'm going to go back to the hand. I'll zoom out. Now, the third piece here is, what do you hope to gain or learn at Process Palooza? Now, we're all about continuous improvement. This is sort of like gathering voice of customer, right? We want to hear from the participants of Process Palooza. What is it that you hope to gain or learn? This way we might be able to, where possible, do a little bit of shifting of content or the ways that we hammer on certain points so that you truly get what it is that you came here for and that sort of thing. All right, a couple other things I do want to share before we actually jump into the space. I have locked a few fields. So there's a couple things like the map that you will not be able to move around. So please, if you see this little lock button, do not push it because then you might see the map moving around for all the other participants and that sort of thing. So don't push that. One final thing I want to share, once people get in the space, you'll be able to see who the participants are. And there's a little eyeball button up here. If you click that, you will either see or not see everyone's cursors. So I'll show you what that looks like in a moment. Okay, now here's how we're actually going to jump into the space. If your last name begins with A, B, or C, I will invite you. I'm going to post the link in the chat. I invite you to go ahead and click on the link, and then you'll be able to access this tool. If you get a notification that says you've reached a 300 item limit, just try opening it in a different browser. It should allow folks to come in without having to log in or create a profile or anything like that. Okay, so if your name begins with A, B, or C, please click on the link. Otherwise, please just view my shared screen. I do want to let everyone know, though, although we are allowing folks A, B, or C last names to participate right now, this page will still be active. So go ahead and save or bookmark this link. And this way you can come in the tool and you can sort of participate, move around the dots, add information so that we can gain from your voice of customer as well. One last thing I want to say, and I'm sure everyone here will behave, but I do want to ask, please make sure that everything we post in here is work appropriate. I can see a few dots are already moving in the space. It's great. A couple here for San Diego. So once again, we have a number of people. We have now, I think it's about 400 folks in the space. So we should have about 50 or 60 working on the tool at the moment. I've got 54, it looks like.
Very cool.
Again, if you are seeing a bunch of cursors, click on this little eyeball icon over here in the collaborators and say, don't show cursors, and it'll clean up your view a little bit. Let's see.
So Tony.
Yes, please.
Can you tell us where you were in San Diego when you first learned about Lean Six Sigma?
You know, I was right here at UC San Diego, honestly. I had been doing similar work at a previous institution, and I didn't realize that's what it was. I was sort of guerrilla tactics, going to other places and learning about what they did and trying to remove these silos and share process information. And when I found out about this position, this role that was open, I interviewed and I sort of let them know what it was I was doing. And they were like, that's exactly what we do here. So I was very fortunate that my passion, right, for being able to collaborate ended up becoming my role. I'm super excited about that. I'm going to move this sticky note that's on the map here. So we have a lot of folks, a couple here look like they were out in the water. Maybe that was meant to be in Mexico. That's kind of exciting to see. A few folks on the East Coast, one in Canada. All right, so once you've moved the dots around to the appropriate place, feel free to make sure you change it over to a hand and pull down here to the bottom part. It looks like a few have already started adding. So, oh, I wanted to call out. So the sticky notes, right? This this is kind of a fun way to say, you know, you can put a map up and say, where were you born? And you might learn from all your subject matter experts where in the world they were born or where they'd like to travel, that sort of thing, where they want to retire. These can be great for icebreakers, but this is also a great sort of replacement, if you will, for dot voting or things like that, where you, if you prioritize and you put up 5 different potential countermeasures, right, for some of your ideas there, and you can put up the dots, say, okay, everyone, you have 10 seconds, go ahead and grab a dot and put it on the one that you think is best. There is a voting feature in this particular tool as well. And you can do, again, you can do similar things with OneDrive templates, PowerPoint templates, G Drive templates, that sort of thing. All right, I'm going to come down here to the tags and see what we've got. All right, identify existing processes. Small changes can have a big impact. I love that one. Remove redundant tasks. Culture of continuous improvement, identifying waste and defects. Please make sure if you have added these for extra credit, feel free to click on this and add a tag. I'm going to do a little bit of magic in a minute once we have a few more here. Where I've seen this useful in terms of being able to add sticky notes. It's great for gathering ideas. It's great for prioritization. I've done one process where, you know, we took all yellow sticky notes and then we sort of prioritize them, you know, when that, I'm not sure what the square is called, but we say high impact, low effort, and you sort of prioritize, you know, which ones are sort of going to be low hanging fruits and which ones might require a little bit of extra collaboration. So we were able to sort of move them around and prioritize in that way. You can change the colors to say the ones that are blue are sort of blue sky ideas, and the ones that are green are just go do it, you know, and the ones that are yellow are sort of in the middle, and you need to you might need to do some networking with other areas. Identifying wastes and defects. Does anyone have a specific tool that they use? I know that there are so many different tools in Lean Six Sigma. My personal favorite tool, I'm going to add a sticky for mine, the Fmea, failure modes effect analysis. It's super, super cool. It's fun. It's kind of cathartic. It's a tool where you go through and you think about all the different ways that your process could fail, and then it goes through and you almost like score them to show how prepared you are and how common the problem might be, and then it helps you sort of choose and prioritize for certain things. All right, so let's see what we've got here. LSS can be applied to any process. Perfect. Error proofing. One other thing that I want to do real quick. I've got a tag here. Has everyone had an opportunity to tag? Again, you click on your sticky note, you'll see this bar pop up, and you click the tag and you say, is this education? Is this finance? Is this defense? Where, you know, what was the industry where you have been able to apply or see, or where you saw this tool applied? Woohoo, one's got a big pink sticky note down here. Let me go ahead and resize that one. I've seen this, this tool has been really successful with process mapping, with future state design. I'll show really quickly what that looks like. You can also add, so you can add boxes and create little arrows and say the next box is going to be, you know, a decision diamond. And from that decision diamond, I'm going to come up and create another decision point. And then from here, I'll come in with my other decision point. And from there, it comes out to be another box, and you can add notes and steps, that sort of thing. All right, so I'm going to ask everyone who has added sticky notes to pause for a moment. And I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do a little zoom in. Now I see we've got some sort of disparate ideas. We've got a couple different tags. Now let's say I was interested in prioritization of tagging, right? I would come down here to this box here and I'd say I want to sort them. I want to sort them by the kind of tag. So boom, it instantly grabs all of the different tags. Please don't do this at the moment. This is something I'm showing for effect. And I can show really quickly, here's all the ones that have to do with, that have been seen in continuous, in education. Here's some of the areas where we've seen certain tools helpful in healthcare, some software development, some retail, and some manufacturing. So I'm going to undo that here. Okay. All right, and it looks too like we've got some folks here adding in exercise number 3. What do you hope to gain or learn at Palooza? The practice of LSS application. learn some new tools, ways to reduce and enhance customer satisfaction, learn about preferred tools. Very cool. So again, I want to invite anyone and everyone to go ahead and grab the link that we placed in the chat. And once this session has wrapped, please feel free to continue adding to this board, come in here, play around, try some arrows out, that sort of thing. It's really fun, really creative. But again, my big highlight here is it doesn't have to be this tool. It can be any tool, but start learning them, start getting comfortable with them, not only from your point of view as a facilitator, but from the point of view as from the audience, right? As you saw, I didn't start by just saying, hey, everyone, come into this tool and just start clicking around. I sort of showed you the key points. You need to know that this hand becomes an arrow and that's where you're going to move around, your board and that sort of thing. If they're not familiar with the tool, before you start working in the tool and really making it functional, okay, we're going to do a value stream map or whatever tool you're working with. Have some fun with it. Have this be about, right, add a sticky note for what your favorite songs were, and then create tags that are around, genres of music and that sort of thing, and then show them and create it in a safe and sort of fun way. This way, the next activity is you're able to make it functional, to make it relevant to whatever the work is that you're doing. So lots of fun. Tracy, do you have any questions for me? Is there anything coming through in chat?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions. So I think what's wonderful about this tool is obviously we learned about all these virtual tools during the pandemic when everybody's virtual, but I really see value in using this even after the pandemic is over. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. So it's going to be interesting. It absolutely will be interesting to see how, how we've gone through and learned from all of these different virtual tools. I'm still really, really in love with the idea of going up to a whiteboard and just drawing and that sort of thing. But there's no reason you can use a digital whiteboard, a smart board, still in an in-person session. I can see a collaborative instance to where we've noted too, like if we had sticky notes and we asked people to draw out or write out their steps, it takes a certain amount of time to then come and put them on the board and that sort of thing. But if everyone had a tablet or a laptop, even in an in-person session, I could say, hey, everyone, we're going to give you sticky notes. Go ahead and put some ideas up on the board, and then we'll share them up on the group on the projector or what have you. So I think it's going to be a great blend of things. I think I've really learned a lot from some of these interactive sessions, and from, as our guest speaker said, from being pushed to that scary place of, how are we going to possibly do that? And that was one of the questions I heard a lot from our folks, our green belts, our yellow belts, our black belts. How can we possibly do this virtual engagement? How can we keep these projects moving? And the answer is you just do your best. You just go out there, you find a tool that you're somewhat comfortable with, maybe get a little practice in there. We piloted it with a few people. We piloted this exact, this exact format with a group of staff, and get comfortable with it. But I think the underlying piece there is be comfortable with failure. Be comfortable with stumbling, with falling a little bit down that hillside, and then learning from that. Get back up and try it again, because it is worthwhile, and you're going to gain from it. You're going to grow from it. And the work is important. This continuous improvement work is still relevant, it's still necessary, and perhaps all the more so, especially when we're thinking about, we all have to go remote, that sort of thing. Well, how can you go remote? How can you decide what you're going to do remotely if you haven't mapped out and determined clearly what it is you're doing, right? So yeah, I'll get off my soapbox. Are there other questions?
No, absolutely. I absolutely agree. And I think it broke my heart at the start of COVID and pandemic when I heard people saying, well, we can't apply process improvement right now because we got to focus on this. And to me, I was thinking, no, this is when you lean into process improvement, creating all these new processes that you can do virtually and applying lean to do that. And there were some organizations that I felt like leaned in to process improvement during this time, UC San Diego being one of them, focusing on return to learn and making that a focus in terms of process improvement and applying it. So I love this tool. I agree with you. I've used it a lot for not only icebreakers, team builders, energizers, but also in the tools for process improvement, a SIPOC, a fishbone diagram, brainstorming ideas, just as you're saying. And also, in creating some sort of simulation in training, those kinds of things. So I think it's going to be hard to actually leave this on the table now that we know what it can do.
No, and that's the thing is anytime you've learned how to use a tool, there come opportunities to use it again and again. And it's the same with the lean tools, right? We teach people, here's how you use a fishbone diagram, or here's how you create a spaghetti map. I've used both of those tools in my personal life. Like just because you're not using it in the way that you thought you were going to doesn't mean you can't still use it. And it's great because I'm back on my soapbox, aren't I? Can anyone tell? I love this stuff. I'm a little bit of a nut. Everything we do is a process. And that's what we tell people foundationally. Everything we do is a process, whether you're creating a form and sending it for approvals, or if you're just making coffee in the morning. Everything we do is a process. You can analyze that process, you can improve that process, and you can work towards better, getting to potentially best. So any other questions or feedback?
Yep, right now, there's a couple questions. One of them is, what about the other virtual applications? So there's Mural, there's Miro, there's Lucid Spark. What are your thoughts on any of those? Do you feel like most of them do the same thing and it's really just a matter of learning them and figuring out which one you like best?
They all do different things well. So one thing that I've done, for example, for the Yellow Belt class, I've created PowerPoint templates. And in those templates, I'll share the link through my OneDrive. So we're all able to go in there and work on those templates at the same time, in much of the same way that we have here. I've seen the same work with Google Suite and just Google Slides. You create the sort of template or your workspace with preset sticky notes and that sort of thing. And you ask folks to move them around and prioritize them. It really is going to depend on, first and foremost, what you're comfortable with or what you can kind of start to work with. And then considering too, what is your audience comfortable with? We did an engagement with UC Santa Cruz. They were very, very comfortable with Google Suite. So great, we sort of transitioned all of our materials for the Yellow Belt to go into Google Suite and to be successful in that format. Because I didn't want to say, you're all comfortable with Google Suite, great, now come work in OneDrive and Teams, because that's what we do, right? It's for me as a facilitator, if I want to get the most out of the interaction and the engagement with the staff that I'm working with or with the folks that I'm working with, I sort of need to learn and take a moment about what is the world that they're living in, right? I'll show you one more. I'll peel back the curtain for a moment. Oh, I don't have it up right now. I have a whiteboard. I have a digital whiteboard that's sitting right next to me with my talking points. So I have that currently up and I'm like scribing and I'm sort of cheating a little bit for the different things. Tell you what, let's add one more area in here. I'm going to create another workspace. If folks want to add in here, what are your biggest takeaways from today? And this is from the very beginning of the session all the way to now. I'm going to go ahead and create a workspace here at the bottom. Everyone can watch me do that.
Tony is an experimenter with artistic mind on the fly.
There you go. So down here at the bottom, at this little bottom quadrant, I'm going to add what was, and it's going to be really your biggest takeaway from today. Let's see if I typed that correctly here. Change it to the hand. All right, let's make that biggest takeaway a little bigger.
You make it look so easy, Tony. You make it look so easy.
I've had some practice. I'm going to add a little box. I'm going to make sure that the box is arranged to the back. And I'm going to lock this in place so that folks don't move it around.
And this is the biggest takeaway from today's session, Process Palooza, correct? Not just this Lucid Spark. Okay.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Good.
Did I spell it right? I put an extra A in today. Let me undo that here. Today. I try to have fun. That's another big thing is, I tell people we have tiny humans and furry friends that are around us almost at all times now. Some of us are dealing with that at this very moment, perhaps. And that's, we sort of need to normalize that and be okay with it. And, I normally am wearing a t-shirt and it probably has some sort of Lean Six Sigma joke on it. So it's one of those things where, if you show a bit of your vulnerability, if you show a bit of your humanity in the facilitation, I know I tripped over the word statistical earlier and I still have issues with it. And that's okay. We don't have to be 100% polished and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
All
Well,
right.
I like what people are writing on here too.
Sticky notes are fun.
Yeah, don't let fear stand in the way of getting to your goal. Love that. Thank you for sharing that. Motivation to push forward through challenges. That everything we do is a process and every process can be improved. Yes.
Yay.
Great. Some of them I can't read because my screen is too big. What are some of the
I
other
can get
ones,
in here.
Tony?
Create a bucket list and follow through. A large community entirely dedicated to process improvements. Like the tool to suit the audience. Jump in and. Let me see here.
Don't let go of control. Let's let go of control and
Yeah.
just try it.
Have some fun with it. Yeah.
Yes.
We're no longer, a lot of us in, boardrooms and the like.
All right, good. I want to thank you so much, Tony, for sharing your knowledge about Lucid Spark. We're going to go ahead and transition, and we really appreciate it. Thank you for being one of these brilliant, artistic, experimental minds at UC San Diego, Tony.
You are too kind. Thank you very much.
Okay, wonderful. That was, if you haven't seen Lucid Spark before, it's a great tool, as we talked about. So hopefully now you have, if you haven't tried it yet, you have some courage to maybe go try a few things. And that's what I do too. I mean, every class I would take, for my Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, I would try a new tool because there's so many out there. I wanted people to see and have a good experience. Okay, we are almost out of time. Can you believe it? So a few other announcements. We do have a hands-on process improvement session this Friday, but guess what? It is sold out. If you're interested in attending at another time, go to the registration link being placed in the chat. It's the wait list, and put your name on the wait list and you will be contacted. There are also 2 more bonus workshops on Fridays: Process Landscapes, Forging Your Path Through Dense Process Jungles. Sounds like a job for Chase. On May 14th with Prachi, and Automate Your Business Processes the Easy Way on June 4th with Sean. So for more information, click the link in the chat. Okay, now you guys can win something. We are going to have a raffle, and we will have one lucky winner of, how many people do we have now? Over 300 people. You'll have one lucky winner of a $500 voucher towards a project management or Lean Six Sigma professional development course, courtesy of UC San Diego Extension. And you win an electronic copy of the book, The Problem Solver's Toolkit, a surprisingly simple guide to your Lean Six Sigma journey, authored by Elizabeth Swan and Tracy O'Rourke. Hey, that's me. So yes, you get a copy of my book. Okay, now for the instructions for the raffle. Okay, here are the raffle instructions. The Zoom chat will open briefly. Once the question is asked, type your answer in the chat, not the Q&A, and the winner will be the first person with the correct answer. Okay, are you guys ready for the question? The question is, what UCSD program taps into a pool of campus Lean Six Sigma experts? And we are going to wait momentarily to see who the winner is. And I'm going to share a few last minute announcements while we're waiting, because it could be a tie. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Koali Build. Koali Build will turn your Lean Six Sigma vision into action by creating powerful, secure, and mobile-friendly processes, all without writing a single line of code. I'd also like to thank the Process Palooza team for all of their hard work to bring this event to life. And please join us next Tuesday, May 11th, when we discuss how continuous improvement continues to shape UC San Diego operations. First up is our Return to Learn panel, UC San Diego's nationally recognized approach to reopening campus for limited operations with innovations like outdoor classrooms, COVID-19 test vending machines, and wastewater detection. Then we're going to check in with other program leaders driving process improvement initiatives, including the Lean Bench, Transformational Healthcare, and the Office of Operational Strategic Initiatives. The panel will feature Will Ford, Natasha Martin, Bob Newhart, Dean Pham, and Angela Scotia. Okay, you guys ready for the raffle winner? And the winner is, we need a drum roll here. It is Catherine Collins. Woohoo! You are the winner. All right. So congratulations, Catherine. And please come join us next week. On behalf of the Process Palooza team, I want to thank all of today's presenters, and thanks to all of you for joining us. See you next Tuesday.